Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. We're doing a character profile and we're doing one of the other bad guys from Reciprocity. There's quite a few of them, and this time we're doing about Baz Zilan, who is often noted as the truest traitor. But as always with the character profiles, I give you a quote, I will tell you some of the reason I created them, and then I'll give you their basic character profile. There's a picture that goes along with him, and I'm actually really proud of this Firebird picture. It's like I worked really hard to get this one done, and it's great in my opinion. But ever since trying to draw birds, ever since I've been useless, I'm not very good with avians. Oh dear. Anyway, I hope you find this interesting. Soren, I know you love your friends and you trust them, but you have to cut contact with them immediately. They chose Baz over your safety. Your brother and he over your safety, your brother, and he'll twist them to want to help him take over everything. Baz poisons everyone around him to think like him and abandons them when they need him. He is going to guide them down a path, and I don't want you anywhere near them. I'm sorry, but they're Baz's now and will never come back. Quote from Reciprocity. So Baz is a character that I needed to be the typical traitorous character, looking to usurp power that all the bad guys have. In fact, he's often portrayed in that sort of villainous cartoony role to others, but it's actually very complicated. He's a fun character to He's a fun character to write for moments I get to write him, and particularly his reveal that is still alive is such a shock for everyone and comes with a lot of other potential problems happening. Baz, though, is not the main villain. He may seem like the main villain for a good section of the story, but he isn't, and things get really twisted with him around. So I hope you'll find him an interesting character when he turns up in the book, which will be about halfway through it. I think it's either chapter 40 or chapter 50 he turns up, so it's quite a long way through it. But anyway, name Baz Zilan, position Firebird, story featured in Reciprocity, role secondary antagonist, gender male, description tall, lean, muscular, sharp facial features including fiery coloured eyes that seem to burn depending on how he feels. His hair is grey but with two fine streaks of orange within the like flames, and his skin is golden in colour. His hair is curled and he has a slightly nasal voice, but he has a very animated face with a slight goatee that remain dark brown, that he uses to appear handsome, confident, seductive, wicked, and pitiful, all with the fact his eyes are quite big and his eyebrows very expressive. So around the veil abilities, he is a brilliant tactician, as well as the fact he can turn into an adult firebird, which is huge and can suddenly turn itself into fire and burn everything around it, as well as can heal others with its feathers, but only if he chooses to give a feather pluck from the flame, marking on his chest. Master himself, personality, selfish, vindictive, sulky, egotistical, but shockingly loyal to those that give him loyalty and friendships freely. Relations, uncle of the Seeker children. Relations, uncle of the Zealand children. He had brothers Aldair, Akos, and sisters Asmin, Rohin, and his favourite Amira. He lost them all in the bombing of Charybdis, aside from his brothers who died in circumstances that some have linked to him. Of his nephews and nieces, there are his two nephews by Akos, Little Akos and Little Aldair, whom he watches very closely. Of Asmin, there is his niece Arnel. Of Rohin, there is Aya, Hello, and Dilbaz, and Amira is Vega. History. The true history of Baz Zilan during the war is a bit of a mystery, and some conclude that even the data available from before doesn't quite match up, but it was known he was born from Kurdish immigrants on the island of Skirion, and the oldest of what would be a big family. Images and galleries and descriptions of him as a golden firebird would indicate his age is over 100, but no one has been able to confirm this, as his form was only ever seen on rare occasions when he was trying to escape something. But from a young age he had a desire to lead, the capacity for it, but his arrogance and self-absorbed ways could often mean no one was willing to follow, whether he was right or wrong. He looked to his younger siblings as his team, and as a high achiever in high school, Baz was quick to step into the research program in the flight school in Charybdis, and here not only flourished but was in command of a unit that even included flying an actual tomcat at some point.
Baz was awarded many accolades thanks to his willingness to learn about his enemy just as much as to destroy it, and was finding the vents on Skitler Island in particular, where demon minions were being released to terrorize the population. He was someone who had expected himself to be viewed as a hero, but very quickly found that he was another cog in the machine, unknown and underappreciated for his efforts despite creating several new techniques and flight patterns. But things seemed to take a turn the day he first earned his moniker as the traitor. When Mabundi's forces came to the flight school and attempted to hold it hostage, standing beside the general at gunpoint, Baz had simply asked what the point to this attack was. He and Mabundi had entered a philosophical tit-for-tat, and then Baz had turned around at the end and simply agreed. There was more on offer for them all if they joined Mabundi. When his general more on offer if they there was more on offer to them if they all there was more on offer for them all if they joined Mabundi. When his general could not believe it, and he rather casually explained his reasoning to the others, many in the Air Force were eager to join his view, and he promptly killed their commander. Stories through the war talk of him as a skilled and accomplished fighter, but one that always knew when to run. However, his failures when they occurred could be catastrophic, and his own manipulation of troops to stir trouble and always test Mabundi's strength became problematic. His desire for praise and acknowledgement are said to have claimed the lives of many efficient generals by stoking Mabundi's paranoia, fury, or even just occurring from Baz skillfully shifting the blame. It is said even his two brothers were betrayed by his ego, and though rumours existed that Baz and Vix were working together to kill Mabundi at one point, Vix appeared the only being he had an amiable relationship with, although he was known to have been best friends with Manu Cole at some period in their life, although had betrayed him too. But when Mabundi's death should have given him the chance of leadership he craved, and urged him to bring everyone together to rise up and fight, he found himself being beaten away from the sword Mabundi had wielded and tripped down the hole where Blythe and Mabundi had fallen at their deaths. The source of the hit was Vix betraying him, and as he had attempted to argue the matter, demons stretched their paws out and dragged him down with his master. His death is one everyone feels they are certain of, but his fiery form remains supreme in the air, and his stories of treachery loom heavy in the chronicles of the victors. So final comments Baz is funny because he gets a lot of sassy quips in, and he is oddly quite in touch with his feminine side, but he and Vix are terrible gossipers together. Also, yes, his is probably the most complete history because they think he's dead. And that's a massive spoiler, I'm afraid, but the way the story goes, a lot of things that are supposed to be dead seem to not be dead. So, anyway, thank you very much for listening to that, and yeah, thank you.